Alright, this is a video about how to do the stove. Here are the components that you should know about. This screen is if you want to leave the door open and just have an open fire, but that really wastes wood. There's the brush and pan to clean up dust. That's a fire starter stick. The shovel is the main tool, and these are fireproof welder's gloves to use when you have to handle hot things. Notice that right now on the top of the stove I have two fans. These are fans that are driven by heat. I don't know if you remember them, if you remember them, but you just place them on top of the stove when it's hot and they will help distribute the heat. Now we're going to talk about how to actually work the stove. Is it going?
Yes.
Alright, well the first thing you need to do, of course, this stove is hot right now, but first thing you do is pull out this little tray on the bottom and empty the ashes that'll be caught in the tray. Clean out the ash pan. Then you can remove these two iron things. They're just sitting in a hole. You pull them out. Put wood in the fireplace. Smaller pieces at the bottom and bigger pieces above. You don't need to use sticks or newspapers if you use a fire starter stick. So you pile up a few good pieces of wood. Then you take the fire starter stick. Break it in half, and stick it in two places under the wood. And light the fire starter stick. Then you, as the fire starter stick starts to catch the wood, you close this and just leave it ajar just a little bit, and that creates like a bellows effect. You see how bright the fire is getting now? Can you see that?
Yes.
Because the hot air being sucked in the slightly open door causes a bellows effect, and it gets the wood really burning well. Then, when you've got a bunch of wood has burned, you're going to need to burn a few pieces and get some good coals at the bottom. Then you can add more wood, and then close the door. And you might have to turn the handle, and you might have to push the door to get it to catch. But make sure it's tight. Oops, see, it's not. Now, once you close the door and there's wood burning in there, you want to open the vent, which is this. This lets air into the stove. And there's a stop point there. So you push down and across. This is letting maximum air into the stove now. This will burn the wood the fastest. So you burn wood until you've got a really good bed of coals and some good burning wood. Then, when the temperature, come over here. When the temperature is in this yellow zone, the burn zone, that means it's hot enough for you to. Close the flue. When this handle is back towards the chimney, the hot air and gases are going up the chimney. That wastes the heat. But after the temperature reaches working temperature, after the stove reaches working temperature, you go like this, snap it all the way back, all the way forward towards the front of the stove, and then it recirculates the hot gases in the stove and burns them a second time. So it reduces pollution and gets you maximum temperature out of the wood. And when you do that, you then have to change this to past the stop point. Now, see? Now, this is for when the flue is closed. This will be very hot. So you'll probably want to slide it back about halfway for the working position. Now the wood will burn slowly and produce maximum heat, and not overheat the house. If you leave this thing too far open, or you forget to close this, the wood will burn very fast, the stove will get super hot, and the room will be too warm to be comfortable. So you want to adjust it properly. So I think that's all. Oh, and when you need to add wood, you have to open this up again. If you leave this in the closed position, when you open the top to put wood in, smoke will come in the house. So you want to add wood, you go like that, and then using one of the gloves, you can lift this up and you could add wood to the fire. You can add wood all the way up to the top of the stove if you want. This is a very good bed of coals, by the way, for long-term burning, because if you have this, you could now stack the entire stove with fresh wood, go back and close the flue, and the thing will burn all night, keeping the house warm.